Hi everybody, it's Doilies again. I've come back to share my third project with you. So this is my third video, third project. What you see in front of you is a canister. It's made of, I don't know, cardboard, paper mache, I'm not sure what. I got it from one of these op shop, Goodwill shops, thrift shops, charity shops. It's just a normal little thing, cost me 50 cents. This one is slightly smaller than the other one. As you can see, it's got a print on the front, and the one that I used, that I altered, is actually was painted dark forest green. This one's sort of burgundy. So without further ado, here's the one I've altered. Okay, I'm sorry if you can hear my dog whining in the background. He's objecting to being shut in the kitchen while we do this filming. And I hope close-up shots are in focus, because I'm just using a normal digital camera. One of these days I hope to be able to purchase a video camera, and then everything will be a-okay, one hopes. So this is the canister with the lid. The first thing I did, because it was dark forest green, was I put 2 coats of gesso over the whole box. I didn't do the inside because it's not going to be seen. This is just going to be used for storing laces in my craft room probably. So the first thing I did was, after gessoing it, I put a white lace fabric over the top of it. Covered the whole box, and that, not the lid, just the box underneath and all around the sides. I have to say first off that, as I'm quite new to this craft, that working on a circular surface, as this container is, was a lot more difficult than working on the 2 flat surfaces that I've worked on with my wall hanging and my heart, little wall hanging heart that I showed in my last video. This was considerably more difficult because of the curved nature of the canister. But anyway, first thing I did was I put a ruched trim on, and this is actually a bridal garter which I picked up somewhere very cheaply for 20 cents. Got lace top and bottom and ruched satin in the middle, so that was a perfect fit, just glued it in place. Here we have, I hope it's in focus, they're just little cream satin rolled roses. I put those all round at intervals. It's got a little cream bow on the front, which was actually part of the garter, but on top of that I popped a Wild Orchid Craft pale pink and white rose. Then I put some pearl string swags in sort of an ivory colour, just coming up, swagging off the roses. I then made a mistake. I decided to put a pretty ribbon trim that I have, which was in pink and white organza. That actually proved to be very difficult, because I had to glue it under here and make sure that while I was gluing that the lace from the garter didn't get caught in it. So that's that trim there, and I hope you can pick up the lovely colour. It's edged in pink, got pink in the middle, and the other is sort of a white clear organza on it. That went all the way around, and that gave the look of under this part of the lace as if it's got a pink underneath it, which is rather pretty. And then I applied the image. This is a little Edwardian image printed onto fabric. It's a little girl with a little boy leaning over the fence and giving her a kiss. She's holding her bonnet, her little sagged socks, and her little pink sash. So I hope you can pick her up. She's very pretty. It's a nice image. I started to frame the image. I used a pink trim, and that's this. I think I got off an Etsy shop. Sometimes I just can't remember where I've got them from, but I'm pretty sure it was an Etsy shop. Little roses all the way around it, large and small. So that framed the whole picture. Then came down, put a little pale pink organza ribbon with little black spots on it, and then I centered that with a vintage good size pearl from a necklace. It's a very pretty sort of peachy pink colour, lovely. Went over to this corner and I put some wild orchid craft roses in the same pink and white, a normal pearl, vintage pearl, normal size, and over here an acrylic white sort of sparkly flower with a bling centre. I hope you can see that, it's very pretty. Got a glue string coming off it, but I angled that, stood it up so that it gave dimension, and sorry, I'm just trying to get that glue strand off that I've noticed, and I popped a wild orchid craft rose in behind it. Over in this corner I've got a wild orchid craft white flower with pearl sprays, some wild orchid craft roses to match these ones but smaller in size, same colour, white and pink, and the same acrylic sparkly little white flower with the bling. I hope you can see that one quite well. Down in this corner, the same wild orchid craft rose as this one, in the same colour, the white wild orchid craft flower with the pearl sprays. That was all I put into that corner. So that finished off that picture. I wanted to incorporate, now that, before I forget, that's the pink organza ribbon that I used for the underneath the garter, very pretty. And I found this trim in a one of my cheap second-hand shops. It's very, very pretty. It's like little separate medallions of organza, and they're all embroidered with pink and ivory roses, little green leaves. So I wanted to incorporate that somewhere on this, but it didn't look right with the whole medallion being used, so I ended up cutting it in half, or cutting two in half, so I had matching halves, and I slanted them across here and across here so that the embroidered rose part of them is showing. And then to fill the whole space, I used yet another thrift shop, charity shop, op shop purchase, sorry, all the different names that we give them around the world. This was just a plastic and fabric bunch of small white daisies, two sizes. There's a small here and then there's a really small, and I took them off and I removed the centres, and with great difficulty, especially with the smaller ones, I placed little pearl bead centres. So some of these are big, some of they're not big, but about half an inch I guess. The other ones are about a quarter of an inch. I put pearls from a vintage necklace, and then some other pearls, and then I put little flat back pink pearls there. These beautiful little glass iridescent pink beads, absolutely beautiful. They just glisten. So I'm never sure whether this stays in focus when I go up close. This camera is not great, but it's very, very pretty with the light glistening off the iridescent pink. Very pretty indeed. And I then went over to this one. I think I just bumped the tripod then, sorry. I then went over to this side. I did exactly the same. Now this actually took me about an hour each side to do all this, so it was pretty tedious work, but I was really pleased with the end result. Then I came over to the back area, the side and the back area. I decided to use doilies. So, sorry, my husband's here with me and he's trying to tell me to do something. Excuse me while we work this out before we go to the divorce courts. So,
you're not in the light.
Over here. Hold on.
Just keep it going.
Is that better?
Other way. Yes.
Okay, I think we've got it sorted now. Sorry about that. This is what you call a marital discussion, where he's trying to whisper so as not to get on the video, and I'm a bit hard of hearing and I can't hear what he's saying. So he's flinging his arms around and getting frustrated with me. Okay, so here's the doily. It's been tea stained around the edges. It's a cream doily with tea staining around the edges. I popped a little white artificial flower in the middle there, sort of fabric flower. I popped a little pink vintage pearl from a necklace, and then I put a whole circle around here of pearls from various vintage necklaces, so they're good sized pearls, as you can see. I deliberately didn't take them all from one necklace. I wanted them giving off different tones, different colours as I went around the circle, catching different lights. So we've got the pink, and then we've got varying shades of almost pale green, ivory to cream to almost like little gold cones. And I did exactly the same with this one. Exactly the same procedure, same flower, same pearl centre, and randomly placed beads from an old necklace, or old necklaces should I say, and the same doily with the little tea staining around the edges. So that completed that part of the box. Apart from, before I put the doilies on, I did put a pink lace frill. It's a very baby pink. It's an insertion lace. I wanted to put very narrow pink lace or cream lace through here, but we had an emergency dash to 2.5 hours away on Friday. It's Sunday here, so it was on Friday early afternoon, because we were contacted to say that my youngest son's baby boy had been born 3 weeks early, and he'd had to deliver it in the back of his car because it had been a very quick delivery, and the baby was medically distressed. Was what they called a cold baby. They couldn't get its body temperature up, and it was in danger of suffering from internal organ failure. So it was in intensive care, and that was a bit of a fraught time with us. He's much more improved now and feeding off his mum, so we're all happy about that, and he'll come out of intensive care soon, we hope. So I didn't have the time to start fiddling with putting tiny laces, ribbons in, so that just got stuck on, and then the doilies put over top. Down here I was trying to find some trim that would match in with the pearls, but I just couldn't find anything. So they're little hearts. They are pearlized, but they're more of a lemony tone than the ivory I wanted. But I might take them off and replace them at some stage, I'm not sure. In this area I just wanted to leave it quite plain, so I just popped in a Wild Orchid Craft rose to match the other roses that are in there. The area around the back between the doilies I left perfectly plain because that will sit against a shelf, and I quite like to see the fabric. I always like to see my foundation fabric. At the bottom, where the lace is all sort of folded up and looking untidy, I just popped another doily with tea stained edges around it. Now the top, I put a pink flat back pearl trim here, and just a plain cream doily. I cut out some of this pink trim and cut out some of the roses from that, just dotted them around there. This is a handmade flower that I made a few weeks ago, and popped that. It's got a little pearl centre in the middle, and that's a little shop bought flower that's been used as the centre. So it's a workable piece. It's still green inside, and it'll stay green because nobody's going to see that apart from me, and I'm not going to worry. So I hope you enjoyed this. There was a lot of kind of work involved in doing this, and as I say, we had this emergency situation on Friday, a couple of days ago, so that interrupted us, and we were down there the whole day with the family in the hospital. Didn't get back till late at night, much to the disgust of our dogs. So I did enjoy doing this in spite of all the stress, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I hope it's in focus, and I hope you can pick up all the pretty colours that have been used, the lovely iridescent pinks on the beads and the pearls. the trims. So thank you very much for watching this video, and if you haven't already subbed me, I'd really be pleased if you could sub me. If you'd like to leave a comment, I will be absolutely thrilled. It's always good as a new person to a craft to get feedback on your projects from people who are more experienced. That's always great. Don't make nasty comments, of course. I don't want to be upset, but you know, constructive criticism is always very welcome, and of course nice comments are very welcome. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.